You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Well, how about that? You caught me sipping a coffee. Blasting out of the bunker, 0 dark 30. It is the Prepared Mind channel. Folks, we are in the midst of some of the most insane, ridiculous behavior the planet has ever seen. I mean, we can kind of understand what's going on with these communist radicals in China when they took over, the communist radicals in Russia when they took over. You know, okay, they believed in this ridiculous concept called communism, which can't support itself. So yeah, the Chinese government now, in order to sustain itself, has adopted fascist techniques. Anyways, see if we can get this bad boy to stop. There we are. Some things won't stop though, folks, and that is the insane push for war. I mean, that's where this idea just kind of, it's like, how can war be the solution? Well, you want to take control, so war. You want to enrich yourself, so war. You know, I understand your enemy has attacked you, it's war. I can understand, you know, you have to defend yourself because you're being threatened by a military force on your border. War. I get that. Putin is going to end up, in my opinion, in a very literal and extremely well-defined military alliance with China. That is what he is being pushed into by dumbass Blinken. That's right, dumbass Blinken. And Biden. And they are dumbasses, folks. Blinken is talking shit to Russia. Joe Biden's over in Ukraine, incoherently mumbling and bumbling through his bullshit lines, and essentially threatening Putin. It's unbelievable. Is Blinken going to fight a war? Is Biden going to fight a war? Well, no, they'll start a war, but they're not going to fight it. I mean, is that going to be his legacy? I'm the jackass that started World War III. We got some problems. Big problems, folks. Biden is over in Ukraine. He meets with shit-stained Zelensky. You know, Slobodan Zelensky. Slobodan Satinsky. This guy, he's an incredible midget of a man who is a dancing fairy. And I mean that in the most pejorative sense. And he is now threatening World War III. If Russia dares to sign an alliance with China. Well, you little mealy-mouthed turd, he really just signed his own death warrant. He just pushed Russia to sign a defense pact with China. I mean, Putin has no choice now. He's like, well, he's got two ways to answer this. The most appropriate answer would be, Don't threaten me, you little turd. I'll do what I want. Do you think you, the leader of a country that was stolen for you by the United States of America government, do you think that you, as the empowered pawn, really control anything? You're getting your ass kicked militarily. You're relying on everyone else to give you money and weapons and training, and you're going to talk shit? Russia could cook the entire country of Ukraine into a puddle of molten glass 10 miles thick. He could just bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and then bomb and bomb Ukraine into a molten crater forever. Yet this little shit wants a war? Folks, that's how messed up these people are in Washington, D.C., in Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum creeps, the New World Order, Illuminati types. Imagine, folks, if Russia was headed by one of their old school Soviet leaders, like Nikita Khrushchev. Do you think he would put up with this shit? He'd be like, oh, you want a war? I'll give you a war, motherfuckers. And it would be on. It's literally where things would be. But instead we have this. I don't want World War III, folks. These assholes do. They want it. Why do they want it? To empower themselves, to enrich themselves, and to destroy anyone who gets in their way and could possibly stop them. I didn't cover that earlier. Why do you start a war? Because you have no other way to keep your power, and people are going to remove you. So you start a war. Okay? So that you can kill the people that are pestering you, that are threatening to remove you. And that's how kings took care of their peasants who were getting unruly. They would say to the country next to them, or the next duke, they would say to the next noble, hey, we need to have a little war. My people are getting a little big for their britches, and I need to mow them down. So they would have a war and kill off the population. Doubt me? Read some history books. Read some European history books. Find out who these people are that are still in power, that still maintain their titles of nobility. Find out who they are. They are there, still. You start a war to get power, keep power, and insulate yourself from those who want to remove you from power. See, little Zelensky, little itty bitty sissy Zelensky is an actor as well as a flamer. He acts. He's not a tough guy. He acts. So he knows how to act like he's a tough guy. But is he really a tough guy? He's threatening Putin. Putin, who has maintained control of Russia without the help of the CIA or MI6. Right? Putin, who came up through Russia when it was the Soviet Union. Putin is a tough guy and a smart guy. He's not being bribed by the World Economic Forum. He's not being bribed by any banking system. In fact, he's being threatened by those things, the World Economic Forum and the banking system. We're putting two of the most obstinate, hard to control countries on the planet on the enemies list. We meaning Biden and the DC government. And I really do like to make that distinction, folks. The DC government, Washington, DC, that government called the United States, that doesn't represent what you think or I think. They don't represent me in the least. Not in the fucking least. Their policies don't reflect how I think. Their practices, their beliefs, no, none of it. How can that be my government? They do not represent freedom and liberty. They don't recognize our culture, our traditions, our laws. Those aren't Americans there, folks. They're impostores. Are you prepared for the consequences of what they are doing? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense? Are you prepared? You don't have to be a tough guy, folks. You don't have to be a superhero. You just need to be prepared and have a plan and understand what the hell is going on. Everything else is happening on its own. Godspeed. God bless America, the real America. And Semper Fi.